More of the best real estate show on the radio, the Sire Radio Show. Here's Robert Burke.
Welcome back, everybody. I tell you what, that was probably the most fun segment that we've had since we started doing this show. I mean, I love that. The Real Alliance, those guys are real. You need to check that out. You can go to our website, sireradio.com, and keep in mind that by being a listener to this show, you get really good discounts going through their programs. I mean, sometimes it's 70, 80% off of what they're charging the normal person. But you can see what a little knowledge can do. Hopefully that's something that we provide with the show. And the next person we have on the show, I'm excited to have him on here, very knowledgeable in regards to owner-financed mortgages. His name is Gene Powers. He's with the Nationwide Secured Capital. Hey, Gene, are you there?
I'm here, Robert.
Welcome to the show. You are in San Francisco, right?
Yes, work out of San Francisco most of the time.
Well, that's good. So how's business?
Business is great.
Well, that's
just send money out and documents out for a closing we're working on right now. So that's always an exciting time.
Well, I love having you on the show because a big part of what I did when I was real active in real estate was bought and sold a lot of mortgages, and that's basically what Nationwide Secured Capital does, right?
It is. That's what we do all day long. We buy and we pay cash for existing loans. We help sellers of properties to get out of the loan, and we make an investment. We put them in our own portfolio, and we also sell them to some of the major funds and private investors we work with closely.
Well, if anybody has a note out there that they're looking to sell, you guys are the guys to talk to. So you can go to nationwidesecuredcapital.com, and you can you go basically online and put the information in, right? And then you get sent back a quote.
We'll give them an easier website, mynotesale.com.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's even better. Say that again, mynotesale.com.
mynotesale.com, all one word. Yeah.
Well, one of the things I wanted to talk about, one of the questions, well, I should say this, that what we talk about topics on the show are basically from remarks and comments that we get from people who listened to last week's show, and they go onto the website. There's a comment section. They can fill out a question or a comment that they have, which we love to hear, and I appreciate it. But one of the comments, or several of the comments that we have received over the last couple of weeks, is about notes and creating. If somebody were to sell a property, a lot of people, and I know my mom is a perfect example of this. She had a property, it was paid for. She'd been renting it out. She got tired of getting calls from people saying the toilet was stuffed up and, the dishwasher was broke and that kind of stuff. So she ended up selling the property. She basically makes the same amount of money, but she doesn't have the problems that go with being a landlord. Nothing that's wrong with that, but that's just for her, that was the way it worked. So she went out and sold the property to the renter that was living there, and now she didn't have to worry about that. But what I want to talk about is if you do that, and I know a lot of our listeners are wanting to do something like that, let's talk about the do's and the don'ts of creating an owner-financed mortgage. What you want to do to make it more sellable if you need the money, and what do you not want to do?
Yeah, and let's talk about making it more valuable, because you can create that note several different ways. We always buy at a discount, even if the note is perfect, because we have to pay for our due diligence and costs in acquiring the note. And if it pays off the day after we buy it, well, we don't want to lose money. But lower quality notes and long-term low interest rate notes have bigger discounts. There's many factors that go into the quality of a loan, how we compute the discount, and this determines the maximum investment amount that will invest in the loan. So there's 4 on my list here, preparing for your conversation, 4 most important factors. I actually have an example here I was going to throw out of, doing it the right way and doing it the wrong way and the difference in value.
Yeah, please do.
Take a minute and do that? Yeah.
Sure, please.
So example 1A, a $100,000 house you sell it with seller financing, 3% down, $3,000. 30-year loan, 4%. That's just like the bank might do for them on an FHA loan. And the payments are $463.09 a month. Well, let's also say the payer credit is $535. He's got lots of collections. He's got a past foreclosure and a bankruptcy. They're both aged enough that we're not worried about them immediately. But the market value after 6 payments on that loan is going to be very low because we did everything wrong. The range is going to be between $18,000 and $25,000 for the whole loan in the marketplace. Most investors won't even touch this loan. The same $100,000 house, if you sell it with seller financing, you get a 20% down payment, $20,000 cash down, 30-year loan, but you put a 10-year balloon on it, and you charge 8% interest rate, which is appropriate for seller financing. Payments go up $120 a month, so it's still very affordable to the buyer. Payer's credit is at 625, no bankruptcy or foreclosure or mortgage rates on credit. That loan, after 6 payments, is going to sell in the range of $65,000 to $75,000 for the whole loan. And with the $20,000 down that you got at sale, the seller can realize 85 to 95% of the sale price of the house, even with the discounted sale of the note.
Big difference.
Yeah. So, talking about the factors there, the 4 big factors are down payment, and the investors look at this, we investors look at this as skin in the game. How committed is the borrower to stay in this property? 0 down, which often happens in seller financing, hurts the value of the loan. It's kind of like renting a house. You're paying about the same as rent. You can walk away at any time, just like a rental house. For owner-occupied homes, we recommend a minimum of 10% down, and 20% is the preferred amount. And if the buyer doesn't live in the property, uses it as a rental property or a vacation home, then you should get an additional 10%, so 20% minimum, 30% preferred on non-owner-occupied rentals, vacation, second homes.
Let me ask you this. When it comes to down payment, and I know that's important, and the more money you can get down, the more valuable a note is, naturally. If, let's say that you've got somebody who, you want to get 20% down, but somebody's got 10%, and you decide that you'll do a first for 80% and a second for 10%, does that help the value of your first lien note?
It does. Well, you're going to get a better pricing on the first lien note, and you can hang on to that, that second note, and provided the borrower performs, you're going to end up with more money in the end. So yes, that's a helpful way of doing it.
Well, I'm glad you said that. Years ago, when I was buying properties, I would sell a lot of my properties owner financing them, because back in the day it was hard to get financing, to be honest with you. And I didn't really mind because I was buying the properties well below market. So I would turn around and sell the property at market value, and I would get 5 or 10% down, and I would take back the difference so that I showed a 20% down or an 80% first lien. And I kept these seconds, and down the road when I sold those first, I got a lot more for them. And I kept these seconds, and boy, they added up. One day I sat down, and I thought, boy, I've got a bunch of these seconds, and they're bringing in a lot of income.
Yeah, so, that works. But again, you can't do, for example, you can't do a 20% second. That's not going to help anything.
Okay, no, I understand. You've got to get some money down.
Yeah.
You do.
10% is really where you should start.
Hey, Gene, it's amazing to me. Other than your site, now give me your website again if somebody had a note that they're interested in selling.
mynotesale.com. We'll take them right to the long one, Nationwide Secured Capital.
Okay, all right.
The other thing we might mention here is if somebody is looking at creating a note, on that page that it takes you to, on the 5th paragraph, I think it is, it says, you don't have a note yet, you're creating a note, click here and get information on
Okay, well, go to the website again and you can find that. We got to get out of here, Gene. I appreciate it. Hey, everybody, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to The Sire, the Success in Real Estate radio program with Robert Burke. We would love to hear from you and share with you about how you can find that dream house, rental house, or property that you can buy, fix up, and sell for profit. Contact us anytime online at SireRadio.com. And join us again next week at the same time for The Sire, the Success in Real Estate radio program with Robert Burke.